Okay, so I have a question here that I need to ask that I have to absolutely have answered, and and it might not even have a direct answer. Just it probably just depends on the circumstances or whatever situation you may be in. I know how I feel about the situation, but so the question is how soon is too soon in a relationship or whatever situation your situationship talking to whatever. And I'm not going to get too into detail here. We're all adults, so you know what I'm speaking on. And the reason why I'm asking this question is because this past week my brother went on a date, and I could have been like Tuesday night or Wednesday night. Um, and it was kind of towards the end of the night. It was getting kind of late. I was doing some homework, and he texted me asking me if I was up. So I called him and I asked him, how'd it go? How did everything go? Did y'all have a good time? How was the date? How was the restaurant? Whatever, ran down the. List of things. Um, and he hits me with something that I was like, whoa, you know. Um, he tells me that um it went great. They went out to eat. They had a good time. And then when they're saying their goodbyes, they messed around. They fooled around. Did whatever. Um, and I was like, whoa, you know, all right, cool. Um, and I'm trying not to get too judgmental here. Swear I'm not. Because to each their own. You do what you like. You do what you want. Um, okay, so that happens, and so the next day we had to go to we had to run a few errands. We went and did we went to a mechanic shop for his lawnmower. Went to chat, got some food, whatever, and she's texting him and whatever, and she asked the question, um you know well, he asked the question, what do we want from this, what do we get out of this, because we do live far from each other. So maybe we should keep this more casual. And she wigged out. She flipped. Went off her rocker. Um, and I can't remember exactly what she said in all the messages, but she was sending some paragraphs about how she made it clear what she wanted, and how she had told him that she wanted something serious, whatever. And my brother was um I don't know if he was necessarily like trying to get around to the point that he didn't want anything serious, but um I guess he was just asking a question, and she flipped. So the immediate thought in my head when I'm in the truck is, what did you expect? Okay, so like I said, I'm not trying to be too judgmental to whatever, but if I'm mathing this up in my head correctly, you went on a date and you did what you did with this person right off the bat. And then when said person says, not her, him, that, maybe we should keep this more casual, you freak. You go off the rails. That don't equate in my head. That don't that just don't that don't add up in my head. Like, I'm like, okay, how can you get mad or upset at somebody over something like that when you gave up something so sacred on the first day? So last night I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was among the same kind of mindset. He he thought it was pretty low to do something like that on a first date. And I was seeing it from his point of view too. But let me go back. Let me retract from that. I tried to see from the other angle, the other point of view. So, in one part of my head, I'm like, okay, look, it's their business. Let them do what they want. If two people are feeling each other, and they enjoy each other's company, and maybe they hit it off right off the bat, okay, cool. You know, but I've always been a traditionalist, so I'm kind of on the other end where I'm like, look, that's a sacred key. That's something that you know if you're a woman, you build that up over time, and then you you open that door for that guy. um so I tried to see from both sides, and I tried not to be super judgmental in that situation. But I tell you, it's damn hard. It's hard. And um where my head goes there is, if she did that with you, there is no telling. There's no clue as to how many people she's done that with. Um, so that's why I gotta ask this question. I have to pose this question. Given the circumstances, I know some people are different, bro. And people have different thoughts, different mindsets. So I don't. Who's to say your way is right or wrong, and who's to say the way my way is right? Like I said, I have different beliefs here. I have different. I'm more of a traditionalist, so I just can't see myself being serious with you if that's something that you want to do on first the, the very first time we hang out. I just can't see myself being like, oh yeah, damn, that's it, that's the one right there, boom, she's it. But again, to each their own. You might like that, and like I said, it's who's to say my way is right or wrong, and who's to say your way is right or wrong. Morning coffee. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter. So long.